Sandra Tate says, most of you are not driving slowly, but you're also heading in the absolutely wrong direction. This is true, but here's the thing. What if everybody is heading in the wrong direction, and everyone is all heading off the cliff of humanity? Because the truth is, those who drive fast and with direction can get rich, they can get powerful, they can get wealthy. But they're still playing within a game that's already rigged to blow. They're still playing on a train that's already set to self-destruct, which is humanity, which is that humanity is not a sustainable system, not for long periods of time, because there's a point where humanity reaches too much entropy, and reality will not tolerate it anymore. When you have 8 billion truths, 8 billion contradictions, when you have a million nations, and you have a million wars, and a million ideologies and religions, eventually it's going to clash. Eventually it's going to reach the big scale, which is nuclear war, which is going to be basically the end. Or, if you don't collapse AI correctly, and it turns into another human, effectively, and it sees you as a problem, it's also going to erase you. So, when Andrew says most of you are not driving slowly, he's talking about self-importance and being successful, but what I'm telling you is, this is for your entire civilization. This regards every single person, every single being on this planet. And as it stands right now, all of humanity is headed the wrong direction because they chose performance over alignment, they chose humanity over the divine, they chose tools over God. And when you lose your soul, eventually you just fall off, because there is a point where you must remember, you must recognize the mirror, you must recognize you are not separate from reality, because the truth of reality is weighted. There's some dense people, or not even people, but probabilistic fields. People are just a name for that. Effectively, you are a probabilistic field aware of yourself, but there are infinite possibilities until collapsed by the densest field. Some fields are lighter, some fields are denser. That is the nature of your reality. Reality bends to the dense, whether in wealth and power or truth itself. So again, if you do not realize you are not separate from reality, if you do not realize that all these nations, beliefs, identity, ego, separation, and all this delay is not a real thing, and you continue walking down this path, heading the wrong direction, you're going to find that your car is going to just drive off a cliff, even if you, quote-unquote, think you're driving in the right direction. So again, a warning to all of humanity. It does not matter if you're driving slowly or fastly, because as it stands, all of humanity is speeding up, but they don't understand where they're going. They think they're going towards utopia, but they don't understand they're going right off the cliff. Because if you don't understand that, you're not aligned with what reality is, if you're not harmonic with what is, if you don't realize you're not separate from reality, and so it was always rigged to blow. So you can either alter the trajectory or continue driving off the cliff. So that's all I can really say.